Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 5 of the Be Kind Be Happy story time. And today we'll finish off part 3 of the Tao Te Ching, which was written by Laozi about a few thousand years ago, around, roughly around the time of the Buddha. I think about 500 years after. Okay, even though this is not a Buddhist text, the essence is remarkably similar, talking about the state of non-being, the state of oneness, and the state of the Tao, the way of virtue, the way, the book of the way. So now let's continue with verses 61 all the way up to verse 81. So 61. A large state lies downstream. It is the female of the world. In intercourse, the female overcomes the male by means of stillness, because stillness lies below. Thus, when the large state takes the lower position, it controls the small state. When the small state takes the lower position, it places itself under the control of the large state. In the one case, the state takes the lower position to control. In the other, it takes the lower position to place itself under control. Large states wish no more than to annex and nurture people. Small states wish no more than to enter into service. Both gain what they wish. It is appropriate that the large dwell below. The Tao is the altar of the things of the world. It is the treasure of the good person and the protection of the bad person. Fine words can be marketed. Honorable conduct can add to one's rank. As for the bad people, how can they be abandoned? Hence, when the Son of Heaven assumes the throne, in appointing the 3 high ministers, he who bears the jade disc of court and presents a team of horses is not esteemed so much as he who sits in place and offers this Tao. Why was this Tao so esteemed in the past? It is not said that by means of it one will get what one seeks, and the transgressors will evade punishment. Hence, it was esteemed by the world. 63. Engage in non-action. Undertake having no undertakings. Taste the tasteless. Enlarge the small. Increase the few. Requite the hostility with virtue. Plan for the difficult on the basis of the simple. Do great things on the basis of details. The difficult undertakings of the world are all arise from simple situations, and the greatest undertakings in the world all arise from small details. Hence the sage never does a great act, and is thus able to complete his greatness. Thoughtless assent always brings little trust. Many easy acts always lead to many difficulties. Therefore, the sage seems to treat them as difficult, and thus never has difficulties. 64. When things are at rest, they are easy to maintain. When situations have not yet emerged, they are easy to plan for. When brittle, things are easy to split. When minute, things are easy to disperse. Deal with things before they occur. Order things before they are disordered. A tree trunk several arm-span round was born of the tiniest seed. Towers 9 stories high rise from foundations of piled earth. A journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first footfall. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. He who acts fails. He who grasps loses. Therefore the sage takes no action, and hence has no failure, does no grasping, and hence takes no loss. When people pursue an undertaking, it is always at the point of success that they ruin it. Attend at the end, as you did at the start, and you will have no failures. Therefore, the sage desires not to desire, and not to value goods hard to come by. He learns not to learn and redeems the errors of the masses. Assisting the things of the world to be as they are in themselves, he dare not act. 65. Men of the past who were good at following the Tao did not use it to enlighten the people. They used it to make them ignorant. People are difficult to govern. People are difficult to govern is when they have much knowledge. Hence, one who governs by means of knowledge blunders the state. One who does not govern by means of knowledge brings fortune to the state. Indeed, these two constitute the standard. To be always aware of the standard is called dark virtue. Dark virtue is profound, far-reaching. It revolves together with things. Only then does it attain great compliance. 66. The reason that the Yangtze and the sea rule as kings over hundreds of river valleys is because they know well to take the lower position. That is why they rule as kings over hundreds of river valleys. Hence, if you wish to rule above the people, you must employ words to take the lower position. If you wish to lead people, you must take yourself behind them. Therefore, the sage dwells above, and the people don't consider him heavy. He stands ahead of them, and they don't consider it an injury to them. Hence, the world delights in supporting him untiringly, because he does not contend. No one in the world can contend with him. 67. All in the world say my Tao is huge, but appears to be worthless. It is indeed because it is huge that it appears worthless. If it were worthy, would it not long since have become small? I possess three treasures. I protect them in my grasp. One is compassion, the second is frugality, and the third, I dare not take the lead in the world. Compassion, thus I have valor. Frugal, thus I can extend my territory. Unwilling to take the lead in the world, thus my works endure. Now, were I to discard compassion in favor of valor, frugality in favor of territory, taking my place behind in favor of leading, I would die. He who goes to battle with compassion prevails. He who defends his state with compassion will be impregnable. He whom Tien, heaven, wishes to save, it protects by means of compassion. 86. A good warrior does not act fearsome. One good at battle does not become angry. One good at defeating the enemy does not contest. One good at directing people takes the lower position. This is the virtue of not contending. This is called directing the strength of the others. This is called companion to heaven, the utmost limit of the path. Military strategists have a saying, I dare not act as the host, but rather the guest. I dare not advance an inch, but rather retreat a foot. This is called walking where there is no road, rolling up the sleeve where there is no arm, grasping where there is no weapon, struggling where there is no enemy. There is no calamity greater than having no enemy. Without an enemy, I have almost lost my treasure. Thus, when two marched, thus when two matched armies contend, it is the victor that mourns. Verse 70. My words are so easy to understand and so easy to put in practice. None in the world can understand or practice them. Words have a governing meaning. Affairs have a ruling actor. It is because they are have no knowledge that they do not understand me. Those who understand me are few. Those who emulate me are esteemed. Therefore, the sage wears coarse clothes and conceals in them a precious jade. 71. To know you do not know is best. Not to know that one does not know is to be flawed. One who sees his flaws as flaws is therefore not flawed. The sage is flawless. He sees his flaws as flaws. Therefore he is flawless. 72. When the people do not hold, when the people do not hold the awesome in awe, awful events occur. Do not narrow their living space or crush their means of livelihood. Because you do not crush them, they will not view you as a crushing burden. Therefore the sage knows himself, but does not display himself, cherishes himself, but does not honor himself. Thus he discards the one and takes the other. 73. One who is valiant in being daring will be killed. One who is valiant in being timid will live. One of these two, one is profitable and one is harmful. Who knows why heaven hates what it hates? Even the sages takes this to be difficult. The Tao of Heaven excels at prevailing, though it does not contend. It excels at responding, though it does not speak. Things come of themselves, though it does not summon. It excels at planning, though it is flexible. The net of heaven is vast, though the mesh is broadly spaced, nothing gets through. 74. If the people do not fear death, what good is threatening them with death? If you make the people ever fearful of death and threaten to execute any who innovate new things, who would dare to do so? Always have an executioner whose charge is to kill. One who takes the place of an executioner is like one who takes the carpenter's place in hewing wood. Few who takes the carpenter's place fail to wound their hands. 75. When the people starve, it is because their ruler extracts too much in taxes. That is why they starve. When the people are hard to govern, it is because their ruler takes actions. That is why they are hard to govern. When the people regard death as unimportant, it is because they seek life too assiduously. This is why they regard death as unimportant. It is precious. It is precisely doing nothing for the sake of life that makes one worthier than those who value life. 76. When born, people are pliant and weak. When they die, they are stiff and strong. The things of the world, such as trees and grasses, are born pliant and fragile. They die shriveled and dry. Thus the hard and strong are followers of death. The pliant and weak are followers of life. Therefore, when a weapon is strong, it cannot conquer. When a tree is strong, it is put to the axe. When strong and great dwell below, the pliant and weak dwell above. 77. The Tao of Heaven is like the stretching of a bow. The high is brought down and the low is raised up. It takes from what has abundance and supplies what is wanting. The Tao of Heaven takes from what has abundance and supplies what is wanting. But the Tao of man is not thus. It takes from what is wanting in order to supply what is abundant. Who can serve heaven by means of abundance? Only one who possesses the Tao. Hence the sage acts but relies on nothing. He his task com- his task accomplished, he does not take the credit. He does not wish to manifest his worth. 78. Nothing in the world is more weak and soft than water, yet nothing surpasses it in conquering the hard and strong. There is nothing that can compare. All know that the weak conquers the strong, and the soft conquers the hard, but none are able to act on this. Thus the sage says that he who receives the derision of the state is the lord of the state altars. He who receives the misfortune of the state is the king of the world. Straight words seem to reverse themselves. 79. When making peace between disputants, there is always some remaining sense of dispute. How can this constitute a good act? Therefore, the sage keeps hold of the creditor's tally, but never calls in the debts others owe him. One with virtue oversees the tally, one without virtue oversees the payment. The Tao of Heaven has no favorites. It always shifts to the good person. 80. Make the state small and the people few. Let there be arms for troops in tens and hundreds, but unused. Make the people treat death seriously and not move to distant places. Though there be boats and carriages, they shall not be ridden. Though there be armor and weaponry, they shall not be deployed. Let the people return to keeping records by knotted rope. Their food sweet to them, their clothes beautiful to them, their homes comfortable to them, their customs joyful to them. Though neighboring states be in sight of one another, and the sounds of cocks and dogs heard from one to the other, the people of one will never visit the other, even as they grow old and die. 81 and final verse. Trustworthy words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not trustworthy. Good words are not eloquent. Eloquent words are not good. The wise are not broadly learnt. The broadly learnt are not wise. The sage does not hoard. Having used what he has for others, his possessions increase. Having given what he has to others, he has more and more. The Tao of Heaven benefits and does not harm. The Tao of the sage is for others and does not contend. The end. So I hope you liked listening to the Tao Te Ching. All 81 verses I've read during the Be Kind and Be Happy story time between episode 3 to episode 5. So if you haven't, feel free to check it out. Check out the previous episodes. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section below. And I look forward to seeing you again next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. See you. Bye-bye.